Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming out tonight. You see, I like this young man a lot. His name is Uncle Charters, because when he came out with the phrase sheep style trading. Bah! So guys, the dip buyers wanted new all-time highs. And as you can see with the chart, new all-time highs is what they got. They bounced off that 618 level, and boy oh boy were they buying pressure to recapture the 5 daily moving average. Remember yesterday when we spoke about the 5 daily moving average? The last few, and many of them, not all of them, but more of them than not, the false breakdown setup, the recapture of the 5 DMA usually leads to a bullish price action. Today I had a 626 level. You guys know that 626 level has been tough. I missed the morning session, had a doctor's appointment this morning, but by the time I got back, we had a beautiful trade setup right here. Bam! When we cleared that 626 level. And yes, this was alerted in Uncle Charters' Discord. 626 cleared. Bulls must prove themselves here and actually show some buying pressure as a sign of price acceptance as the new support. If it does, and as long as above 628 stays in play, you guys can see we cleared that level on the 15-minute chart and it worked its way to that 628 level, closing at new all-time highs. Was this the best intraday trading ever? No, but it was solid. Wasn't very trappy. It picked a direction and the targets were hit, and here we are, new all-time high at a critical resistance level, 628. You guys can see my structure here had a triangle pattern. That drop to the downside that we had on Wednesday looked like an attack on liquidity. Like they just went, attacked some stop losses because they built liquidity. You guys can see all the multiple bounces, these wicks here. They went down, attacked liquidity, and we had strong buying pressure because when people stop loss get hit, there's going to be buying pressure. And it pushed it up, and here we are back to the top of the triangle pattern. Breakout for tomorrow. As you guys know, it's sloping up, but I'm watching that 628 level still, and I do have a fib extension level at 630. If we clear 628 level, gravity is going to be defied. Another new all-time high will be made to 630, 631.6, 633, and so on. But only possible if 628 can clear for the breakout. Now that resistance has hit though, when do we trust rejection from resistance? For Uncle Charters, for me to trust a rejection from resistance, I need to see it strong enough to break down a support level. 626 is that support level. This was the first close above 626 on the daily chart ever. So if it goes and back tests 626, it must prove itself as a buy zone. If we see that there's buying pressure, that tells us the market makers accept that new area as the new buy zone. And if they do, that means they have plans to push SPY to new high. But if we break down 626 and we break down 624, I would favor a pullback. Breaking down 626 would make me trust the rejection from resistance because that showcased strength. And breaking down 624 would get SPY back below the 5 DMA. It would get SPY to break down this triangle pattern again, and it also breaks down a fib level. So multiple reasons why getting below that 624 level would be bullish for the SPY. So are we on the same page here? 628 clears. We're in the breakout mode. New all-time highs incoming. We break down 626 and 624, especially below 624. I would favor a pullback back down to 618 and possibly even lower this time. Moving on to triple Q, it bounced off that 5 DMA this morning and cleared multiple levels. The last level that it cleared was the 561 level. That is a fib level, and as long as above 561, I do favor more upside. 563 and 564.8 would be my next targets to the upside. If we're finally gonna get a correction or a pullback, as usual, the price actions behavior must reflect that, and bearish price action behavior is when we break down support levels, starting with 561 to invalidate yesterday's or today's breakout, and if we break down 559, 557 would be back in play. Bulls must hold that level there, because remember, yesterday we had the first close above that level ever. Today is the second close above that level. So if we break back below 557, that would be one heck of a false breakout setup, and it should put 555.5, 554, maybe all the way down to 550 back in play. But if we manage to stay above 557 on any back test, I would still be overall bullish. But if there is no back test and 563 clears, 564.8 or higher in coming. Here is Tesla. Now Tesla actually had a red day yesterday. Very important to note this, that we cleared the 320.5 level yesterday. That is a fib level. Today we broke it back down. Is it pullback time? Is this a potential lower high? If the answer is yes, staying below 320.5 would help the bears out. But 319 and 317 must break down. That's the 5 DMA and around today's low. So if we break down 317, I would favor a much deeper pullback. 314, 312.5, 311, maybe 309.3 would all be back in play for a pullback. But if we're talking more than a pullback, we're talking another low, big move to the downside, then below 309.3 is what I need to see price action do. Break down that level. To be bullish, we need to recapture 320.5. It's just that simple. Recapture that level, 15-30 minute chart or higher. Higher the better, obviously. Maybe we can get a bounce back to the upside. We need to clear 322 and 323.5 to put 325, 328, 330 plus all back in play. Follow the price action, guys. And here is NVDA. It cleared my 172.5 level and it managed to hit that 174 level. Amazing. If it can stay above 172.5 and clear 174 tomorrow, it's a good chance we go hit 177 and 178.4. If it's pullback time, I still need to see support fail. 172.5 is a start, but the main level I need to see fail is 169. That would break down a fib level and break back down 5 DMA. Below the 5 DMA, I would favor some more downside, a pullback, maybe down to 166 in the 164 area for the gap fill. Here is Coin with a very nice bounce off the 5 DMA and ran into some fib level. Now the last fib level that it cleared today was around 406, which was also very close to yesterday's high. As long as above 406, we can expect more upside. I have resistance at 410 and 411.6. If that level clears, we can expect more upside up to 413, 416, and possibly all the way up to 420. If we want to play a pullback, the price action must indicate that to us when a puts would be good for entry. When is puts for good for entry? When we break down supports. 410, 408, and 406 are my support levels. If we break down those levels, we can favor some more downside, especially below 406. I would favor a $10 to $15 pullback if we can lose 406. Otherwise, overall bullish above. And last but certainly not least, here is IWM. Today, IWM managed to recapture its own 5 DMA. You guys know how I feel about the 5 DMA. It's one of my favorite moving averages. Not everyone agrees with Unco, but Unco agrees with Unco. And it recaptured it. So if it plays out right in favor of the bulls, this should be bullish tomorrow. And if I'm right, price must stay above 223 to put 225 and 227 in play. And if this doesn't favor out bullish like I'm expecting, then the price action must tell me that. Because sometimes the price action changes its mind. And when it does, I'm not going to argue with it. Because arguing with it always gets me red. So if it does change its mind and it wants to be bearish instead, 2 levels must fail. 223 fib level, which cleared today, and 221.5. That's also a fib level. But breaking down that level would also break down the 5 DMA. So if we can break down those 2 levels, we can expect some downside 220 and back down to 218. But if another pullback, I would favor we break down 218, and I'm more likely to go hit 216 and 214 on the next drop. All right, so that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for sitting here and watching and listening to me talk. I know it's probably hot. I hope you guys have your AC on and comfortable and feeling awesome, as you should. You guys deserve it. So thank you for sitting here. I love y'all. Peace.